Hello and welcome to another Sprues and Brews unboxing. Today we're looking at Borgit's Beastgrabbaz and the Edge of the Knife Rivals deck for Warhammer Underworlds. So first of all I want to say a massive thanks to GameSwitch for sending us these early review copies to have a look at on the site. In the video we're going to be having a look at the kit, seeing how they go together, checking out all the cards, and then in the second half of the video we'll have these built and painted, and we'll go through the Edge of the Knife Rivals deck as well to show kind of what's in there and how it works. So the new edition of Warhammer Underworlds has been out for a couple of months now, and they made some massive changes to the way the game works. Essentially, everything is Rivals decks now. There's no generic cards that come with the warband box. Instead, each warband will have a playstyle, so flex in the case of Borgit's Beastgrabbaz, and that will denote what type of deck they're best suited for. Now, you can use any deck with any warband, but obviously some might be more suited to some warbands than others. And what they've tended to do is released the Rivals deck that goes well with that warband at the same time. So yeah, these look quite cool. Now obviously this is coming out alongside the Gloomspite Gitz Battle Tome as well. And it is a Gloomspite Gitz warband. What's really cool about this though, you've got, on the back a little bit better, you've got the two guys dressed up as a squig. You've got the Trog who's got like a wolf over his head. These two guys here look really, really nice. So yeah, really, really nice warband. Now I've seen some people say it's very similar to the other Gitz warbands that we've had. Yeah, I suppose that's true to an extent, but it's nice that we've got a bit of variety in there with the kind of fake squig and the Trogoth and everything. So what we'll do, open this up, have a look at the stat cards for them, see how the models go together and see what the models look like. And then yeah, in the second half we'll crack open the Rivals deck and we'll see the painted models. So without further ado, should we crack this open and have a look what we get inside here. So what we get is a green sprue. Now all of the Warhammer Underworlds sprues are coloured, so you can use them straight out of the box without having to paint them. They're all in different colour plastic, so you can differentiate the different warbands. These are all push fit models as well. So I very, very rarely used glue when building Warhammer Underworlds figures. Some people complain that you get a lot of gaps. I find that you get gaps more likely if you glue, because that glue that you're adding to the model is adding a couple of millimetres between the parts, so your joins aren't going to be perfect. So if you are going to glue them, what I would do is trim down the pegs a little bit, and that just gives it a little bit more room for the glue to go in between those parts. But yeah, these are really, really cool. I'll be painting up the Gloomspite Gitz Git Mob Army set as well, so I'll be working on these guys at the same time. I've got quite a few Gloomspite Gitz upstairs that I need to build as well, so this is a good excuse to get together a decent army for them. And yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be too difficult to build, not too many pieces, so that should be a fun one to do. So moving on to this little pouch, this will have all the cards and the assembly instructions in. Now, if we take a look at the stack cards, now these are all kind of multilingual now, so they are suitable for any territory. Now you'll notice that on the cards, all the kind of like, there's no abilities as such on there anymore. This is really just their stats, and then a lot of their stuff's done on the other card that we'll look at a little bit, is the kind of like mechanics for the warband, and then all the upgrades and stuff and special abilities and stuff like that is all done through the Rivals decks now. So a little bit different how it used to be, where each fighter might have a unique rule on there. That has changed a little bit, so we'll explain that by having a look at the card. Now this is multilingual, so you do get a lot of different languages in there that we don't need. So Borgit's Beastgrabbaz. So after a friendly fighter delves, inspire that fighter. So that's cool, you just need to delve to inspire them. At the start of your first action step in the first battle round, pick an enemy fighter with a health characteristic of 3 or more to be the trophy. Melee attacks that target the trophy have +1 attack dice, that's really good. Debate, immediately after a friendly minion is slain, push your leader a number of hexes equal to the health of the slain minion. The push must end adjacent to an enemy fighter. Okay, so basically as your own guys die, you get to push your leader around. And then you've got some army abilities there. Gittish tactics. Use this immediately after friendly Uglug or friendly Borgit successful attack. Until the end of the battle round, the target of the attack is Demuggins. Friendly minions, melee weapons have Grievous. When targeting Demuggins, you can use it once per game. Reassuring Presence. Use this ability immediately after your action step. If a friendly Uglug used any core abilities in that step, you can push each friendly minion up to 3 hexes. Each fighter pushed this way must end adjacent to a friendly Uglug. You can use it once per game. And Stab 'em Good. Use this immediately after your action step if a friendly minion used any core abilities. Until the end of the next action step, the first time an enemy fighter is pushed, place or enters any hex adjacent to a friendly minion, inflict 1 damage on the fighter. You can only use this ability once per game. So yeah, they look quite fun. So like I say, what we're going to do now is jump ahead. Well, we'll have a quick look at the assembly instructions first, but these aren't really too difficult to build. Like I say, they are push fit, and they've only got a couple of pieces per model, so these are really not going to be too difficult to build up. Should be a nice easy one. So what we're going to do now is jump ahead to the future. We'll have these built and painted, have a look at the finished models, and then we'll check out the new Edge of the Knife Rivals deck. So before we jump into the Rivals deck, just thought I'd have a look at the painted models for these guys, because they are really, really characterful models. I've been working on these over the last few days to get some paint on them for the review, and there's so many nice little details on these, like the two guys with the kind of squig hide over them, so they can trick the Trog into thinking that it's their pet squig. And then you've got the Troggoth himself, who's like a young, juvenile Troggoth. He's kind of got a wolf skin over him. And then on the back, there's a kind of snotling cutting up a squig hide or something. And then a poor unfortunate guy who's kind of like hanging out of his basket. Really, really nice. And then the kind of archer unit with his little kind of snotling buddy that his arrows are kind of being propped up by. We've got the grabber there, who's obviously using snotlings as bait, maybe kind of capture various monsters or squigs. Again, another really, really nice model, another bag full of snotlings on the back there for when he runs out. And then finally, you've got the leader, who's very much a classic kind of like Night Goblin with his Bad Moon shield. And again, a bit of a wolf pelt on him as well. So really, really nice little warband. They're really fun to paint up. We will have a look at the Edge of the Knife Rivals deck alongside these. So, like I say, you don't have to play with this deck. You can play with any deck, but this one suits them quite well because of the main mechanic. So, while using the Rivals deck, fighters with a health characteristic of 2 or less and or 2 or more damage tokens are tempered. So obviously it works quite well with warbands like this, with units with not much health. But equally, if you've got a warband that can take the damage, it's quite a good one to use with this. And I'd argue it's probably better to put on a more resilient warband who can take a couple of wounds and then use all these abilities. So a lot of these mechanics are around slaying stuff with tempered fighters, with having 2 or more tempered fighters in enemy territory. Score in action step if a friendly fighter was the target of an attack while they were tempered and they weren't slain. So again, if you use it on quite chunky units that have got quite a few wounds, you can probably score that one quite easily. Score immediately after an opponent's action step if 2 or more friendly fighters are adjacent to the same enemy fighter. Score this in end phase if a tempered fighter is in enemy territory. Score in end phase if there are any damaged fighters and those fighters are not adjacent. That's a dead easy one to score. Double team, score immediately after a friendly fighter's successful attack if the target was flanked by a friendly fighter. Behind enemy lines, score immediately after an opponent's action step if a tempered friendly fighter holds a feature token in enemy territory. All in, score in end phase if there are no tempered friendly fighters in friendly territory and any tempered friendly fighters are in neutral or enemy territory. Trial of the tempered, score in end phase if each fighter is tempered. Power numbers, score this immediately after an action step if 3 or more tempered fighters with no move tokens are adjacent. If you're the underdog, you need 2 of them. And finally, aggressive defender. Score this immediately after a friendly fighter's attack if the attacker is holding a treasure token. So as you can see, there's a lot here that relies on you getting tempered fighters, so those with only 2 wounds or have 2 kind of wounds assigned to them are in enemy territory. If they're adjacent, there's lots of moving around shenanigans for this one. Now to back that up, you've got quite a few power cards that kind of lean into that playstyle, that let you do kind of like moves and counters tempered, give them extra health in order to kind of weather the storm for some of them, reduce the attack dice of incoming fighters. So while it does work well with the gits there, I do feel that this would be a quite good one to have for a warband that's got lots of wounds, so they can kind of take that damage and weather the storm. And, you know, for some warbands, just 2 wounds isn't a lot. There's ways of healing that. There's ways of mitigating damage. There's some cards in here, that I can't remember which one it is now, gives you X extra dice, where X is the number of damage inflicted. So, yeah, I think this is a pretty fun one to use. I think with this warband, though, I think there we go, X is equal number of damage tokens they have, so the more damage they've taken, the more attack dice that they get. And again, some warbands will be able to kind of weather that quite a lot. So yeah, interesting one. Your problem with the gits for this one is that your guys are quite fragile, so while it's going to be easy to have a lot of these tempered, you are going to run into the problem that your guys aren't very tough and they're probably going to die. But this is the kind of deck where you don't necessarily have to kill people. A lot of them are about moving on to, into enemy territory and dancing around the board, which is something that you can absolutely do with these guys. So yeah, that was a look at the new Underworlds warband and the new Edge of the Knife Rivals deck. We do have a write-up over on spruesandbrews.com as well, where we go through both of these, and there's some more shots of the army and some of the cards in there too, if you are interested. But yeah, it's been a fun one to use. What is everyone thinking of the new edition of Warhammer Underworlds? I know a lot of people, it's been a bit Marmite, hasn't it, for some people, where some have liked the changes, some haven't so much. So let us know, are you a fan, are you a convert? Are you picking up any of the new kits? Are you continuing to use your old Warhammer Underworlds collection? If you're into Warhammer Age of Sigmar as well, we do have a full unboxing and review of the new Git Mob army set and Gloomspike Gits battle tome as well. So that one's really exciting. I've painted up all the Git Mob in there too, so if you are a Goblin fan, you absolutely want to check that one out, because there's some absolutely glorious models in there, and Ripper Snarlfang's making an appearance as well. So check that out. That is going to be linked in the recommended videos at the end, most likely. And I've also got a full write-up of that over on spruesandbrews.com as well, if you do want to have a full deep dive into the brand new battle tome. If you do want to support the site and you've enjoyed what you've seen, why not give us a follow, give the video a like, tell us what you're excited about this year in Warhammer Underworlds. We've also got a link to Element Games in the description as well. Anything that you buy through that link, we get a bit of a kickback, which goes towards making these videos and running the website as well. So any of your help there is massively appreciated. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this one. Have a brilliant weekend, and we'll see you soon.